He asked for a miracle in front of people so that whenever they saw this happen, there would be no explaining it away, no ability to say a coincidence, natural phenomenon, any of that. There would be no way to say these things because he had asked for it in front of the people. And so when they saw that the sun did not go down, they knew it was God. They had zero question. As if you would even really be able to explain something like that away anyway. But again, Mother Nature, these things happen over the course of history where we have some freak thing happen. And so they knew that that wasn't the case. And then also these hailstones, they didn't ask for them in the presence of other people, but we know that this is no coincidence because, yeah, it hails for sure. But is it a real coincidence that it hailed only on these people at this exact time as they're getting away and that it helped God's people at that exact time? That's not a coincidence. And so we need to take note of both of these things. We need to make sure that when we see things that, yeah, they happen, but do they happen at that exact time in that exact way that helps us at that moment? That's God. Even if we don't ask for those things, God works on our behalf, and we need to notice when He's doing that and praise Him for those things. And then just think to yourself for a minute, how much do you trust Him? Do you trust Him enough to ask for a miracle in front of other people? That takes some guts. Do we even believe that He can do miraculous things? Do we ask Him, even in private, to do something miraculous? Maybe we ask Him to heal someone, to help us in a certain situation. But do we ask Him for miraculous healing that doesn't account for doctors and medicine? Do we ask Him to do things that in all logic would not happen, and the only way that they can happen is if He intervenes in the course of this person's life or in the course of nature? Do we ask Him for things like that? Do we even think about asking Him for things like that because they don't seem logical? Do we believe Him enough to do those things? Do we believe in His power enough to ask for miraculous things? If you will ask God for tiny things and big things, for things that, yes, happen in the real world, but you need to happen now for this purpose. If you'll ask Him for those things and then wait and see what happens. Sometimes He will give us those things. Sometimes He says, no, that's not good for you. I'm not going to do that. But sometimes He says, sure, I would love to do that for you. I want to demonstrate my power. Then your faith will increase. You will see, oh, God did this one thing, so now I'm going to ask Him for more things. I am going to rely on Him for the things that I need instead of trying to get them in a normal way, because I know that He's able. This will increase your faith in the normal things and also in the more miraculous things. And when He does do something completely miraculous in your life, you'll see His power, and it will just strengthen your faith in Him. And then when you tell other people, either what you're praying before you ever even see God's answer, and they're aware, they asked for this thing, and then when they see it happen, then their faith also increases. And also when you tell people even afterwards, if they know you and they believe what you're saying, then they will believe in the God that did it for you. In Daniel 4:2, Daniel says this. He says, I thought it would be good to declare the signs and wonders that the Most High God has worked for me. I thought it would help you to see what God has done for me. I'm going to tell you all of the things that God's done for me. And if you believe those things, then you'll believe in Him. Then you will be encouraged, and you'll be able to see His power too. Yes, God works for us even when we don't ask Him. But when we ask Him and then we receive, we know it comes from Him. And so we have to ask, believing that He can do all of the things that make no sense otherwise. So I'm going to leave you with these last two verses. Ephesians 3:20 says, "To Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or even think, according to the power that works in us." This verse tells us that He can do even more than you could ask for. He can do more than you could even think to ask for. And so we need to trust in that power. See all that He can do and believe in it. James 1:5-8 says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him who asks, ask in faith, without doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he would receive anything from the Lord, because he's a double-minded man, unstable in all of his ways." It says God gives liberally to those who ask, and without reproach, without condemning us for not being wise, not having the qualities that we need in order to live this life in a good way. He says, ask and believe that God can give those things to you. But don't doubt. Don't sit there and think, I hope God can do this. Now, we never know what God is going to do, but we always must believe that He can. He is all-knowing, and so He knows what's best for us. And so sometimes He tells us no, but we at least need to believe that He can do it, that He has the capability to do that. Otherwise, we shouldn't believe that we will receive anything from Him. If we don't trust Him enough to believe that He can do the things that we ask, then why should He give them to us? So be encouraged today that God has power over heaven and earth. He has power over the sun and the moon and the stars and the water in the sky and in the sea. He has power over everything in this earth. He created it and He rules over it. But He also has the power to work within us. And so all we need to do is believe in that power. And then notice it. Recognize when it's God. Don't explain it away by some logical, natural thing. And then tell others. Spread the word that your faith and theirs may increase.